What is up, ladies and gents? It's your boy Jermaine, RONIN MMA, and today, ladies and gents, we are checking out a video from the channel RONIN MMA, and it is about our boy Forrest Griffin, Ultimate Fighter winner Forrest Griffin. And I saw some things about this, some posts. People were talking a little bit of chatter, but I never watched the clips. But people were saying that he embarrassed himself quite a bit on the JAXXON Podcast, which is becoming quite notorious these days, I would say, the JAXXON Podcast. But let's check out this video from RONIN MMA about Forrest Griffin, and I'll react throughout and at the end, ladies and gents.
Oh my God, honey, what's wrong? Why are you dressed like that?
Why would I be dressed any differently, Mom? It's who I am. It's hard to admit it, but Mom, I'm white.
All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. Now, I do want to apologize, okay? I wanted to get this video out last week, but unfortunately, I lost my voice from being sick, and I didn't want to do that to you guys and your ears because I probably sounded pretty similar to Bear, and we all know how annoying he can be to listen to. So I figured I would just wait until it had cleared up a little bit, okay? But we're here today. Better late than never, I guess. What I want to focus on in today's video is Forrest Griffin's appearance on the JAXXON Podcast in what was maybe one of the cringiest, probably the cringiest moment of all time on a fighter's podcast, and that is really saying something. Okay, we get a lot of cringy moments from fighter podcasts, none as strange and uncomfortable as this, where he spent the first 5 minutes or so essentially apologizing for his skin color on behalf of all white people. Okay, so just take a look at this first.
Your name, Bear. But no. All right, give me 5 minutes. I want 5 minutes. I want to do a little thought experiment, and I think if I can pull this off, we'll all be on the same page.
Okay.
I think. All right. So, real question: do you ever think when you meet a pale skin like myself that
Pale skin.
I'm not really white.
Okay, pale skin.
I'm kind of pinkish. Like,
I didn't hear what you said. Pale skin.
Like if a pig got a sunburn, that's kind of what I look like. Not by choice, but you get what you get.
Yeah. Same color as the pussy. In your face like that. That's
Oh yeah. No, that is. That's just me being old and pale skin. So, serious question: do you ever think people that look like me did horrible shit to people that look like you for hundreds of years?
Do I think about that?
Do I ever think about it?
It's true, but I don't think about it.
What are we talking about?
I do realize that. Like, you talk about generational trauma, shit like
Oh
that.
my
I
God.
realize that, fuck, I'm about as white as they come, right? People that look like me did horrible shit, and even under color of law, to people that look like you. I realize that. And so, for me, there's not a hesitancy, but you talk about people like, I want to be what do they call them? An ally? Well, I don't want to be an ally. I want to be kind of an advocate for pale skinned people. Like, look, horrible shit happened, but we would like to make allowances for that and move forward. And so when somebody
Reparations.
of darker skin likes me, I really get fired up because I'm like, hey, look, they were able to look past all the horrible shit that happened.
What are you talking about?
I think you have like a
Okay, I don't know what else to
Holy
say other
shit,
than
dude.
what the fuck is Forrest Griffin doing, and why does he think this is a good idea? What was he trying to accomplish? I am truly fucking lost.
That was
okay,
crazy.
It all came off as very strange, very awkward, and very unnecessary. Also, he speaks about white people like we're fucking vampires, okay? So that's one thing. Two, I think that Bear and Rampage are also
He does kind of talk about white people like you guys are fucking vampires. Like, a darker skinned person is able to look past what we've done and be my friend. It's kind of like you guys are vampires. That's hilarious. Oh my God.
uncomfortable here. Bear looks like he's going through a fucking crisis while this is playing out, probably thinking, hey dude, we just finished getting lit up by the whole internet and you're gonna open up the show like this.
Bear looks,
why?
Oh
Please
my God.
Stop, I think is what he's thinking. Who knows? But I'm truly at a loss for words. Listen,
oh my God.
when you say something like, I get extra fired up when someone of color likes me.
Yeah.
Because they had to look past all this horrible shit.
Jesus
You're
Christ.
probably not the person who should be speaking on behalf of all and fucking anybody, my guy. Okay? That comes off as very out of touch. It makes it seem like you have never met a person with different color skin than you before in your life. Okay?
That's crazy.
Where I'm from, and I'm not joking either. There are 3 black people. Okay? I live in the middle of nowhere in a very cold climate. There are 3 of them, and I would never assume that that's what they're thinking, and I would never assume that this was a good idea to do. This is just fucking stupid.
It's crazy.
And I'm not sure what the purpose is here, but let's continue.
I think you have like atomic bombs, and then you have slavery, and slavery wins. And if you think about this country, you know, it was built off the back of slavery.
Comedy?
That was initially the biggest financial cap. No, I mean, you look like you're in shock. This is just...
Yeah, some people don't like...
But so I'm aware of that, and I appreciate that. So I'm definitely, you know, so let's take that a step further, right? So there we are. I had the pleasure of interviewing Eric Dickerson, and he talked about growing up, you had to be twice as good as the white kids to get on the field. Maybe more than twice, right? And so things aren't that bad as times pass, but my thought, and I could be wrong, again, this is what I think, not what I know. If we got a pale skinned guy and a darker skinned guy here, and they're both here, who do you think's getting the position?
And what type of field?
Sport, in any sport.
I don't know.
Probably the dark skinned guy.
You think?
What, if they the same?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay. I guess I answered wrong.
There's no wrong answers. It's a thought.
Then what are we talking about?
Okay, now this is very strange.
That's crazy.
Substitute teacher energy coming from Forrest Griffin. There are no wrong answers. This is just a thought experiment. Well, very clearly, Forrest, he did not give you the answer you were looking for because you immediately went, really?
Yeah,
and then you're
really?
going to go on to tell us your opinion, because if you were going just based off of Rampage's...
Because that's what this whole thing is about, all right? There's the Louis C.K. joke where the person's like, he's like, I have a friend who's like, if you had a time machine, what would you do? And Louis like, I wouldn't do anything with it. I'd let it just sit there and collect dust. And every once in a while I'd be like, oh yeah, there's a fucking time machine over there. And then the friend is like, well, what I would do... And he's like, because that's the whole point of you asking the question. So you could just stare at me while I say this thing you don't care about, just so you could tell me what you would do with the time machine. That was the whole point of that question there. He didn't care what Rampage said. He just wanted to state his opinion.
Answers. This thought experiment would have been over a minute ago. When Rampage answered, he doesn't think about this a whole lot. Because you want to know what, dude? That's what normal people fucking think. You're the only one continuing this strange thought experiment, as you put it. And in doing so, in my opinion, you come off as very condescending and you come off as infantilizing Rampage simply because he's black, which I don't think is your intention. So if I was Forrest Griffin, I would have just quit while I was ahead. When Rampage answered no, I actually don't think about that at all.
Yeah.
Okay? Very fucking strange, but it's not over.
Experiment.
Oh, okay. So I would have thought that if both people was like that, that maybe if they're gonna have to go, maybe the black guy probably got it. That's what I thought. I don't know.
Okay,
I don't watch sports, so that was like,
In sports, I would guess that it would probably be the other way.
oh yeah, because of the quarterbacks. Black people just started being quarterbacks. I'm sure.
Yep.
Just
started getting these nigga bags.
Also, so you go from racism, and then in the 90s, we were there. We thought white people quit using the N-word, so we thought we beat racism. Turns out, no, it's systemic. We realize this now.
I watch combat sports.
So, from pure racism, well, we've backed off that, but there's still prejudice. And some of that prejudice, it's kind of like, it's kind of couched in an odd way, right? If you think about African-American males, what stereotype? They're good at sports. They're athletic. They can fight. They have large genitals. That's maybe true, not true. But What I'm saying
You
is,
forgot they like watermelon and fried chicken.
Yeah. What other racist stereotypes?
I'm just saying. You forgot.
you could say it. I'm gonna.
I can say it.
Jesus
it's better if
Christ.
you say it.
Okay.
You
Works
can
out
say
better
it
for me if
all.
you say it. All right.
This is crazy.
So my thought is, the expectation for you is higher than it is for me. So you and I fight, and it is a very close fight. I have an expectation of success because you have a big scary fella and a goofy dude. So my thought would be that it's not an implicit bias. It's not targeted racism, but there's a thought that, well, that guy, actually was a close fight, and so they would expect more of you.
I understand.
Okay, now there's a couple things
That's
I want to
weird.
talk about here. Now, first of all, we kind of find out what this was all about. And it's Forrest Griffin's way of trying to justify or explain away his title victory over Rampage Jackson. And he's essentially chalking it up to systemic racism, okay? Or implicit bias, or whatever it may be. And I think that's fucking pathetic.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I truly do. I think that is absolutely pathetic. That fight took place under the old scoring criteria. You can make arguments for Forrest Griffin rightfully winning that fight without bringing up the color of your opponent's skin. This is fucking very strange to me, and I'm not sure why he's trying to explain it away like this. And something else that I want to point out is, while Forrest Griffin talks about his belief that people have a higher expectation of somebody like Rampage Jackson because of the color of his skin
This big
than they
scary
would
black
somebody
man
like Forrest Griffin, I, for one, think that Forrest Griffin is doing the exact opposite of that, and in a very negative way, okay? The bigotry of low expectations. You can list off a bunch of positive stereotypes about African-American men and how they have fat cocks, but you are too scared and you get all weird and iffy.
Yeah, why don't you throw
when
those out
Rampage
there?
cracks a joke about fried chicken and watermelon. If you can't joke with them, and that is how you are acting, is that you cannot joke with these people. You do not view them.
And I thought it was always the length and not a girthy stereotype, but that's neither here nor there.
As being just like you. And it's very fucking strange to me that you would have this energy around them. You're afraid to joke. It's fucking unbelievable. And you should not be chalking up your title win to racism when later you guys get into it and you actually do make good arguments for why you won that fight. So it's very strange to me that this is going on right now.
I understand exactly what you. I understand exactly what you're spitting, and me being from the South, being from Memphis, Tennessee, I did like at the time kind of think a little bit a hint of that, but then you and what's his name, Stephen Bonner, you guys single-handedly saved the UFC, and they loved you, and and I kind of think about, I took race out of it 100% when I did the Ultimate Fighter against Rashad Evans, because that was my second time doing the Ultimate Fighter. I was the first coach, by the way, to do at the time to do 2 seasons, right? And with you doing Ultimate Fighter, at first I did kind of think it was racism, but when I did it with Rashad Evans,
They realized they just don't like you.
no, they didn't
I'm
like.
kidding, I'm
no,
kidding.
you true.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought they loved you.
No, because you guys made the Ultimate Fighter. You came from there, and Rashad Evans came from the Ultimate Fighter, and they did basically the same shit.
Kind of their golden child.
Yeah, it was the golden
Children,
child.
yeah.
So I rooted racism out of there 100%. But I understand what you're saying. A lot of people think that.
I don't even mean
Okay,
race.
now that is the last clip I want to show you guys, even though there are a few more times throughout the course of the podcast that Forrest Griffin kind of brings this topic back up. But the reason I ended it with this is because I wanted to show you guys Rampage Jackson for about a third time now disagreeing with Forrest Griffin's premise, and he explains to him that while he used to think this, he realized over time that it seemed like the UFC was more so favoring fighters that came from the Ultimate Fighter, as they viewed that show at the time as their baby, because it saved the UFC. And I would even go one step further and say that it's probably just to do with money right? If you've got a guy who was on TV and the fans know him very well from being on TV, you might be able to make a little bit more money off of somebody like that than somebody who came over from Pride or something where the hardcore fans know who they are, but the more casual fan base in the West might not. So, you know, this was very fucking strange to me, the entire thing. I don't know why he thought it was a good idea, and it gave me the energy of in Wayne's World, okay, when Wayne and Garth drop to their knees and they are screaming, "We're not worthy" to Alice Cooper. I don't know why anybody would feel the need to apologize on behalf of their skin color and think that they are not the fucking racist ones, okay? It's unbelievable to me. Or that you would meet somebody who looks different from you and assume that their mind goes to, fuck this white guy, basically, is what Forrest Griffin assumes of people of color, and is very fucking strange to me, okay?
He thinks we go straight back to slavery immediately. That's crazy.
Very strange. Anyways, dude, that's it. Wanted to cover it. I don't think I've been all that coherent. I'm still feeling brain fog.
Shout out to RONIN MMA. That was a dope video. Forrest Griffin embarrassed himself indeed, man. That was pretty uncomfortable to watch. I don't know why he felt like he needed to keep trying to make this point of just nonsense. You know, he's going off. He's like, you know, they say black people. He's like, what are the things about black that we know about black people? They're great athletes. They can they do all this. And he's like, oh, you got to say we like watermelon. We like chicken. Like, and he's like, oh, I'm not going to say that. And it's like, well, bro, it sounds like you're leading there. Like, that's right there along the list of these stereotypes that you're fucking naming, bro. Like, this is crazy. I can't believe Forrest. I mean, this podcast, the JAXXON Podcast, is becoming quite notorious, as I said before I started. But, dude, that was just pretty cringe. They deleted the episode with Bryce Mitchell. They probably should have deleted this one, because this is just honestly gross. I don't understand why Forrest would want to put himself out there like that. Honestly didn't know Forrest was white, honestly. When he was back in the day, man, he was like super pale to a point where, like, I just wasn't sure what he was. I didn't know what Forrest was, honestly. And now I know that he's this white dude who's got way too much time on his hands. So much time on his hands that he thinks every black person that he runs into, he needs to explain to Forrest. I mean, no, he needs to explain to Rampage Jackson that it's shocking to him whenever a black person is cool with him and doesn't immediately jump to, you guys did all this shit to us in slavery. Like, bro, this guy's crazy. But Forrest Griffin is nuts. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. Maybe you guys feel the same. Anytime you see a black person, you're like, oh, please don't be thinking about slavery. Please don't be thinking about slavery right at this moment, because it could go down. All right, it could go down. We're always just right on the edge. It's always just like slavery. Oh, good morning. Like, just in that 1 second, we weren't thinking about slavery. But if you had said something to us half a second later, it would have been slavery on the mind, and it could have went down. So, but let me head on over to RONIN MMA. Give that guy a like. Give that guy a subscribe. Whatnot. I'll give him a subscribe. Let me know what you guys think in the comments about Forrest Griffin. Do you disagree or do you agree? But let me know in the comments. Once again, thank you guys for being here. Hit that like, hit that subscribe, and I will see you guys when I see you guys. I'll holla.